Hello everyone. So, good day. Thank you for joining us today. For this day or for this session of Babangon Tayo, we have one of our graduates or completers for grade 10 or the junior high class of 2021, Mr. Paul Brian Alexis Chua. So, Paul, hello. Good morning.
Sir.
Okay, so Paul, I would just like to ask you, it could be conversational, so you could really speak in any dialect or language that you like. So, first of all, kamusta ka? How was life after this school year?
Wow. So currently, okay naman. I have been catching up with some friends lately na hindi taga Taytong. And well, currently I'm just finishing some responsibilities as editor-in-chief in the Clarion. And after that, I'll be taking a break from campus journalism for 1 year. And after Sina, I'll be adjusting with senior high school siguro. I'm taking the break to adjust with senior high school. And I'll be taking the ABM strand.
Wow, ABM ka. That's nice. Okay. So, very good. At least, before you end everything, at least ready. Ang ginbilin mo, ginplastar mo na, especially with the Clarion. Okay, so, let's talk about the school year, how the school year ended. So, I would like to ask, how do you like online school as with regards to learning, attending classes, and accomplishing schoolwork?
In terms of learning, I'm actually loving online school since it allows us to study in our bed, even sa garden or in our dining area. So it's kind of flexible and given the situation right now. Pero I think I would really prefer the face-to-face setting compared to this because with the face-to-face setting, we see our classmates, we see different people, so we interact with different people, and I think that makes learning much more meaningful. But now we cannot really do anything since COVID is still here and we are not yet vaccinated. So with this modality, I am liking it as an alternative to face-to-face learning.
So would you think or would you say that what happened for last school year in the online class, Taitong's online learning program, was it a little manageable?
Manageable? I think yes naman because Taitong is really working together with their students. So we have these things na we answer surveys that enable us to vent out what we feel, to be honest about our experiences, and after that, the school and the administration actually creates resolutions in order to aid to the problems that we experience. And in terms of manageability, yes, it is manageable, but I really have this sense of being biased to face-to-face learning. So really,
Yes.
face-to-face learning for me is much more manageable compared to
Yes, we can't really, kumbaga hindi ito compete with online learning and face-to-face because of course majority of the students, actually all siguro of the students, 90%, of course prefer on our face-to-face learning. However, it's good to know that at least your experience with online learning is not that really hard enough. Now, there's another question here. Of course, even though we were not actually teacher students when you were in grade 7 to 9, however, I know that you're an honor student back then. And even up until grade 10, you were actually still getting high grades. You were also eventually the one who gave the response from the graduates or from the completers. So it means you really have high grades. Now, what were your inspirations or how did you achieve those high grades so that others may realize, okay, this is the way for me para magkaroon ng high grades?
Oh, okay. So now, entering the school year, we were informed that there would be no honor system. So personally talaga, I am the one that pressures myself to be part of the honors list. But my family and my mom don't put pressure on me at all. So when I knew about this news, I actually kind of felt relieved. I felt happy in a way that the pressure was removed because the honors list was the one that was giving me pressure for the longest time. So I think for me, the best way for us to get better grades is to focus on ourselves and not compare our progress, our grades to others. I think now, especially now, it is a good thing that I don't actually remove the honors list since, for me, since we were able to focus on learning more rather than competition. So if it is competition, people would tend to do all things just to be on top. But if it is just pure learning, then we learn and we apply what we learn in our tests, and eventually we would get good grades. To be honest, I didn't expect that I would get good grades this year. Pero siguro amo na lang dito siya nga I tried to learn rather than to compete with others. So in the end, yes, I got good grades. I'm happy with my grades.
So it doesn't matter actually if there are honors or awards for this year. Yes, di ba? So, but in fact, you still had an award. Of course, you were part of the leadership awardees, you had the campus journalism awardee, and many more. And do you think those little awards and achievements that we had for the end of the year, were they a bonus for you, especially the removal of the academic awards?
I think so. To be honest, everything that I've experienced just to get those awards, just to get those medals, they were all not a joke. They were all hard. Well, for me, I felt that they were hard. For me,
Yes,
I actually
hard
felt that
to juggle EIC, working for written, then academics, wala ka support
So
system.
they are not bonuses. I think, they are a testament of someone's hard work. Siguro, I would like to put it that way. I don't want to think of them as something that is a bonus.
Right.
Pero, if we focus on that, pero siguro on the whole scale of things, siguro pwede ito siya mahambal that it's a bonus because the thing that I really wanted to experience this school year is even though we are apart, we can still unite in achieving one goal. And I think the grade 10 batch has achieved just that.
Yes, then it's very evident. Ano, kasi yung may pangdagaan, especially with the contests, the other contests, then of course you're the only batch with a jersey and many more, and the first batch to have the sash and many more. Now, you have a lot of obligations. As you said, you're working for grade 10, you're focused on academics, then also with the Clarion, being the EIC. Now, what do you think was the biggest hurdle that you faced, and how did you overcome all of it as well?
I actually think that the biggest hurdle that I've experienced with my responsibilities was really time management, because other than the Clarion, other than the batch, and other than my studies, which on its own studies actually are very, very, the workload is very heavy to the point that it becomes very hard. Other than that, I also have to take care of our store. May Changi kami sa Dalong. We're like, and I also need to do my household chores. So,
Were there tayo in the online class, nagawan tayo ka sa Changi niyo?
yes, I have experienced that. Was it math class or Chinese class? I think the factors that really helped me would be my friends. If you have people that would really inspire you to do good, then you will do good. And also definitely the hard work that my mom gives for me to actually continue my study, especially now na she just got a new job and she didn't have a job during the duration of 2020. So during the pandemic. So ayun, those are the things that actually keep me motivated. My friends and the hard work that my mom puts in order for me to go to school.
Now, it's very inspirational because you have a lot of hugots within yourself, not necessarily the hugot lights, but rather the people, your inspirations, the things that you draw out. However, there are also a lot of students that don't have that hugot and that inspiration and that aspiration to succeed and do more. Do you think right now, especially there is a trend of students who are very lax in their studies? And if it's a yes or no, what do you think are the evidences?
If you look on social media, there are a lot of people that are doing that. Pero in Taitung siguro, I would say that there are people like this, but I think we need to understand their situation.
Oh,
I have encountered many group mates, many people in doing PTs that are like this, and I ask them on why you didn't comply with this, why you didn't do this, or why can't you submit on time, and they would actually have a reason, and that reason is a reason that someone wouldn't expect. Many people would say that they are freeloaders, and I am actually guilty that I am one of them. Pero when I started to ask them and I started to understand their situation, really you can tell that you don't really ride on the same boat, but rather you're on the same ocean. So siguro, and I think the situation in Taitung can be applied to the situation in other schools and other communities as well.
So given those, syempre we also have our own personal problems diving into this online class. Of course, you said other people, especially ang tamaran who are labeled as tamaran, actually they have their own personal reasons for not being able to submit on time and stuff like that. Now I think we can ask, especially from you, who is very constant when it comes to submissions and participations last school year. What do you think are the attributes and the attitudes that one must possess in order to survive online schooling?
I think the personal attributes and attitudes that one needs in order to survive online school would be to always have a very strong fighting spirit. If you don't have that, then I think you need to develop it. Magkaka-develop talaga kayo ng a very strong fighting spirit together with determination. But as much as you have those things, you also need to know your limits and you need to know your capabilities. Because if you know your limits and you know your capabilities, then you are able to make decisions that would be the best for you and would be the best for others as well. Okay, you cannot just say yes to a certain decision and then eventually you'll regret it afterwards, and then you'll affect not only yourself but also the quality of work of other people. So I think really one needs to have a strong fighting spirit, one needs to have determination, but together with those things someone needs to know their limits, their capabilities, and they must not always be afraid to say no if they can't do it.
Exactly. Your words are very instrumental, and I think a lot of the people who would be watching this when it eventually goes on the air or on Facebook would understand the purpose why you are saying that. Because of course, not only do you need to have the fighting spirit, of course, but just like what you said, we also have to remember that we are human beings and we have our own limits as well. So do not be afraid to say no. Now, you being one of a good role model in Taitung, what can you advise for students who have difficulties complying with the requirements on time? And what do you think, or can you give one insight on what is the biggest benefit that students can get if they submit on time rather than on the deadline?
Wait, na-flatter ko sang good role model.
And that's true. A lot of teachers, of course, say good things about you, and that's reality. Of course, we also choose you for the day.
So I think the advice that I can give to students who have difficulty complying with the requirements on time, I think this worked for me. I don't know if this would work for you. Do not compare your progress to the progress of your friends. Like, never, because you don't live in the same situation, you don't live in the same house, and you and your friends don't have the same mindset. So, siguro, I think you need to focus on your own requirements, you need to focus on your own goal rather than comparing your goal with others. Kaya I would actually tell myself na stop comparing your progress to them, and you'll finish by 4 p.m. since some of our deadlines would be at 4 p.m. And then I think that worked for me because I'm much more focused. I don't open my phone and actually tell them, diin na kamo, like that. And I get to finish my work in a faster pace. So, ayun, and I think the benefits of doing work on time and submitting it on time or before the deadline is that you don't have to stress yourself to finish something that is already late, and you would find more me time. I think really it's all about hustling now and then relaxing later. But I know that the situation is different from other students. So really it depends on them on how they manage their time well and what their mindset. So pero for me, yun, that's what I can give.
So did you really, di ba last year we had our cycle breaks. Did you take advantage of the cycle breaks to rest? Since of course you are gakauna ka man gitapos, did you take advantage of it to really rest for your cycle breaks?
Well, if the workload for that certain cycle is not that heavy, then I could take the cycle break as a me time or as 2 days to relax. But if the workload is actually kind of heavy, then I take advantage of it as something that how should I say this? Two more school days siguro. Yeah, 2 more school days to finish tasks. And I think the cycle break is a very effective way in order to catch up and in order to submit projects that you did not submit during day 7. So ayun.
Yes. So like I really got a lot from you, Paul, right now. And when I said kagina na you're a role model, it's really indeed true. Balak na ako ng brother ko or ano, but that was really it. Now, before we end or we close it all, what's your closing statement? What's your closing statement to the students of Taito as we continue to indulge ourselves in online learning next year? What's the best message that you can say and that you can give to them?
I think since we are still students, siguro, kapit lang, like just hold on, kapiyot lang. It is because as students, we can voice out. We have social media, but we cannot actually implement something. We cannot implement something for ourselves. So talaga, we just need to follow what they say. We just need to follow because they think that that is the best for us. But we actually need to be resilient now. I know that it is a very overused term. It is a very romanticized thing,
Yes.
and it is always related to Filipinos. But I think it really works. The idea of being resilient works in our modality right now, in the kind of learning that we are adapting right now. But at the same time, as much as we are resilient, we also need to be honest. We also need to be vocal, and we also need to be courageous. We need to take sides now. We need to be vocal in terms of our experiences during online classes. We need to be honest. We need to be honest with our experiences, and we need to be courageous. We need to be courageous mentally, physically, and emotionally so that we can actually ace online classes. So, ayun, we need to be resilient, but as much as we are resilient, we need to ask for accountability because we cannot just stay this way. We cannot just stay this way for the longest time. We need to have development, and we need to have change because this is not a sustainable way of learning. As much as it is possible for some, it is not very sustainable for students and for teachers alike. So, as much as possible, Resilience is a good thing, but we also need to ask accountability from the ones who implement our laws.
Well said. So thank you so much, Paul, for your very wonderful insights, and I hope other people here learn a lot from you because, of course, the things that you said, they were very instrumental and they had a lot of thought in it and they had a lot of heart for it. So I just wish you the best when you go to senior high school. EVM student, ready na siya. And once again, thank you so much, Paul. Thank you everyone for listening to us. For Babangon tayo, ay taytong yan. Special. Thank you everyone!
Thank you. Bye-bye.